As most of the parents these days, I am exposed to a lot of cartoons. I have two children and they are cartoons addicted, so I see the same cartoon many times. And usually I have this choice. I can staring with blankly to the cartoon and the seventh time I see it, or I can try to, let's say, make association with what something that an adult can be interested in, and this is not. I mean, these days it's easy because they are cartoons are cleverly engineered in order to, let's say, to be meaningful for children and also for their parents. So, anyway. Some months ago, I was looking for, I think, the fifth time, How to Train Your Dragon, which is a cartoon, a really good cartoon. And at a certain point, there is a scene, which is 1 minute and 5 seconds long. And while I was looking at the scene for the fifth time, I realized at the moment that that was the most perfect coaching session I ever witnessed. And so I was on I had my son there and I started telling him, let's go back and see it again. And my son was, let's say, a little bit surprised because usually I don't stay there and look again to the same cartoon. And the scene is when there are two Vikings. One is Astrid, which is a female, and then the other one is Hiccup, which is the main character in the cartoon. And Astrid and Hiccup, before of this session, already know themselves and they are friends and so on. But this is the first time that Astrid gives an advice to Hiccup about the situation in the film. And I just want you to look at this scene. It's 1 minute long, as I said. And then I will discuss what goes on that dialogue, because for me it's one of the best examples of a coaching session, even if it's in a cartoon. So let's look at it. Let's see it.
You must feel horrible. You've lost everything. Your father, your tribe, your best friend.
Thank you for summing that up. Why couldn't I have killed that dragon when I found him in the woods? Would have been better for everyone.
Yep, the rest of us would have done it. So why didn't you? Why didn't you?
I don't know. I couldn't.
That's not an answer.
Why is this so important to you all of a sudden?
Because I want to remember what you say right now.
Oh, for the love of it, I was a coward. I was weak. I wouldn't kill a dragon.
You said wouldn't that time.
Okay, whatever. I wouldn't. 300 years, and I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon.
First to ride one, though. So...
I wouldn't kill him because he looked as frightened as I was. I looked at him, and I saw myself.
I bet he's really frightened now. What are you gonna do about it?
Probably something stupid.
Good, but you've already done that.
Then something crazy.
That's more like it. You must feel horrible.
Here, Astrid as a coach starts with a reality check, emotionally participating if you look at Astrid's face and listen her tone, but without making any discounts on reality. She says it's a mess.
You've lost everything. Your father, your tribe, your best friend.
Here the coach challenges the client's sentiments. I mean, master is a little strong, but it's culturally appropriate. They are Vikings. Client does not expect to be asked, how do you feel? And in general, he does not expect his sentiments to be acknowledged. So Astrid's choice is to acknowledge them in an authoritative and challenging manner. And it's a good balance between acknowledging emotions and respecting the cultural mind frame of her client. And further details the reality check also.
Thank you for summing that up.
Client Hiccup bitterly acknowledged that the coach summarized the tough reality, so Astrid said it how it is.
Why couldn't I have killed that dragon when I found him in the woods? Would have been better for everyone.
Here the client does a reality check, and this allows the client to raise questions about what he did about the past. So the client is having, say, questions about his behavior.
The rest of us would have done it.
And Astrid, with this short sentence, actually acknowledge the client judgment and uses this judgment to underline the client uniqueness. Everybody else would have done something different, but you did that.
So why didn't you?
With this question, Astrid, the coach, challenges her client, following the client logic, and at the same time she's reinforcing the client individuality. Here, ICAP doesn't say anything and just start working on an insight and on the answer, showing that the coach question, the one that Astrid told him, is working as a command to explore the options and the answers.
Why didn't you?
And the coach insists. So the client is working and the coach keeps the client on the point.
I don't know. I couldn't.
In this moment, the client is struggling and to find an answer and comes out with two disempowering and accountability avoidant negation. I don't know, I couldn't, the sincerity, I wasn't able, and so on. So it negates. And
That's not an answer.
Why is this so important to you all of a sudden?
And Astrid says that's not an answer. So the coach keeps the client focused and does not collude with him. This happens all the time. The client says, I cannot, and the coach says, oh, poor boy, you're right, and so on. And actually, Astrid does the right thing. It doesn't collude with the client.
Because I want to remember what you say right now.
So here the client reacts, blaming the coach, because the coach says, that's not an answer. And the tone of voice of ICAP is like, I'm sick of this conversation and things like that. And again, the client is trying to put responsibility on the coach, so to avoid his own responsibility. And at this moment, Astrid, the client, says, because I want to remember what you say right now. So the coach takes responsibility for her role as a witness of client's success or failure. At this point in the conversation, we still do not know if the client will succeed and what success will be like to him, but Astrid is trusting her client.
Oh, for the love of it, I was a coward. I was weak. I wouldn't kill a dragon.
And the client continues in avoiding accountability and says, so I'm not able, I am a coward, I am blaming himself this time. But that's not different from the point of view of the coaching session. When a client blames someone else or blames himself, he is not working, he's not evolving, he's just avoiding responsibility.
You said wouldn't that time.
And here, this is a masterful coaching technique from Astrid, because she focused on the way the client said what he said. And the sentence is, you said wouldn't that time. So this time, the coach sticks to what and how the client tells the story, catches the verb, which is wouldn't, and focus the client on the difference between feeling not capable, couldn't, and feeling he made a choice. That's wouldn't.
Okay, whatever. I wouldn't. 300 years, and I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon.
At this point, the client, the poor ICAP in this case, acknowledges the difference between could and would, and reframes the experience, incorporating the fact that he wanted to behave differently, and so starts realizing he is and wants to be different. And the silence indicates the client and coach are working to deepen their mutual understanding of the situation.
First to ride one, though.
So here coach Astrid, leverages on the different. You are the first one who did something different about dragons.
So,
I wouldn't kill him because he looked as frightened as I was. I looked at him, and I saw myself.
This is when a client has what we call an insight. So at this moment, the CAP understands why he did what he did.
I bet he's really frightened now. What are you gonna do about it?
And at this point, Astrid expanded the vision and offered the client the situation. There is a dragon which is frightened, and ask to the client, what are you going to do right now? So it's the coach call to action for the client, to the client.
Probably something stupid.
Good.
This is what happens to the client at this moment. When the coach asks for action, the client says, I will do something that I already did.
But you've already done that.
And the coach says, do something different, do more. So here the coach is inviting the client to expanding, not just expanding the possibility, but doing more, performing better. At the same time, she acknowledged the resolution for the client, and support it.
Then something crazy.
And at this point, the client takes the hint and resolves to action and leaves and goes to do something really stupid, but different from the last time.
That's more like it.
And this is the final sentence, and it is where the coach acknowledges the client and the shift that the client made, and recognize that the client is ready to take action at the maximum potential for the client himself.